Adam is dead, and this time people care. Did Chloe do it? Or is someone else to blame for that explosion? And Lucinda, a.k.a. Lieutenant Uhura, dies, but she will always live long and prosper. Next up on this week's Restless Wrap-Up.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, that is the sound, you guys. And of course it means that we are here for this week's Restless Wrap-Up. And just so you know, I do know how to do the V, but my fingers don't do it. So this was close enough. As always, I am Lacretia Lyon, your host, and you can always find me at LACRETIALYON. But of course, I am not alone. I have a special guest host with me. Tell them who you are and where they can find you.
Hi guys, my name is Abbey Scott. I'm so excited to be here because I'm a fanatic. I love Young The Restless. I go way back. Me and my mom, I mean, she was watching this when I was born in the hospital. That's how much we love our Young The Restless. But yeah, my name is Abbey Scott. You can find, I do it all. I Insta, I Twitter tweet, I Snapchat. It's all Abbey Scott 1, which I think will be below. You can see the link below.
All right, guys. And then, as always, I have my sharp-dressed man.
Well, thank you. I wore my funeral best today. Poor Adam is dead. I'm Alexander. You can find me at Instagram and Twitter at On The Rocks On Air. And to find out more about me, go to OnTheRocksRadioShow.com.
Oh, I was late.
You were late. Better late than pregnant. What?
Oh, I thought it was late than never, but pregnant, yes. We don't need that. Hey, everyone. As always, I'm Kiera Giavanni, and you can find me on all social media at Kiera Giavanni.
All right, guys. So I guess it's time to talk about Adam's death. No.
But is he really?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, to me, we'll just throw this in here since it was like a very small scene about the gloves with the wedding ring, and I'm just like, ugh.
Okay. I have a statement about that. Number one, Adam would not have had his wedding ring because he was in transit by the police. The police would be in possession of his wedding ring. Boom.
True. Very true.
But we know that Chloe probably has it. Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I'm just like, I don't know. And I really hate that they threw that in because it's like, okay, could we at least have let's believe Adam is dead? No.
Yeah, just have some closure for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is dead on soap operas.
I was just going to say, what is dead?
Always come back on soap operas.
And to me, they can, but it just so takes away from when, you know, the impact, if you still have that hope. Because to me, General Hospital did this with Robin, and it's like, as much as we love Robin, it would have made so much more sense for us to believe that she was dead instead of throwing, no, she's not.
Like I said, at least for a couple weeks, let Chelsea, you know, move on, and then we start to really set in, okay, he's really gone, and then bam, he's gone.
Who thinks that Chelsea and Nick are going to
we've all
Dun, I mean, basically, when he was like, oh, I think you should get some sleep, I was like, oh, come upstairs, Nick, put me to bed. Okay, but also with the Adam death is like we didn't get the death scene. We got an explosion, and that was our goodbye to Adam. Not like with Sage. We emotionally got to invest. So even if we think that Sage might come back, we got to like mourn her. We haven't been able to do that about Adam. I mean, he blew up, and that was that.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like, especially when you had such an iconic, you know, actor come in to play the role, let's have him be dead for a little while.
Yes.
And, you know, and don't recast the role immediately because we don't know how well this is going to do. Justin, I mean, it's getting great reviews from critics and stuff like that, but, you know, you never know. And the thing is let's let Adam sit for a while because to me, it was very quick when they recast Michael Mahaney to be with Justin Hartley. Yeah. It was very quick, but a lot of that had to do with other issues. But with this...
that we won't talk about.
So what about those DNA results? Why do you think that they came back conclusive when obviously it's not?
And what tissue is it? Like, is it a nipple? Is it like his leg? Like, what tissue?
And Sharon is overreacting. It's like, you know, she has it on her forehead.
Yeah.
It's like,
everybody had all their shade on their forehead this week.
I know, right? They were saying the same thing about Phyllis. And,
But like Lacretia, I know you're a big fan of SVU, as am I. But when they talk technical, like I start to like blaze over. When you get incinerated in an explosion, what can remain? Like, do your teeth remain?
Your bones.
It's your dental.
Yeah.
So
yeah, to me, with fire, depending on how hot it was, I'll get technical. Because I did take a lot of forensics classes and worked at the crime lab on my job shadow project. But yeah.
I can totally It's you in a crime lab too.
But yeah,
Finding evidence.
So depending on how hot the fire was, there would be just ash, and then there would be sort of like teeth and a little bit of bone fragments, just depending on how hot or the explosion was. But I bet what they found of Adam was when Chloe did just shoot him with a tranq dart.
Sure.
But to me, there could have been blood from that. I mean, because it depends. If it's a big dart, you're gonna bleed.
Or if you struggle to get out.
Yeah.
You know what though? If it was like really that hot, you know how Chelsea was about to go into the cabin? I would have loved to have seen her without eyebrows, like they had been singed off. That would have made this week pretty fun.
Or the hair. Little Michael Jackson action.
Love it.
Poor Adam.
I know.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like I don't want the Adam character to be dead, but at the same time, let's not do a quick recast again. It's like no, let's more.
Chelsea get her
I
groove
think,
back.
I think he would come back.
Yeah.
I think the same Adam would come back.
Oh, he loves the show.
Yeah,
I mean,
wasn't it like he got another show?
Yes,
and that's
this
why?
is us. Yeah.
But the hopes is that does really well, and he won't have time, so they probably will have to
Yeah.
recast.
So maybe if it
Damn you,
doesn't,
Michael Rady.
but maybe if it doesn't work out, he will come back. And that's what I'm hoping.
Imagine him coming back to the set, and the other actors are like,
really?
It
Okay.
doesn't work out. That's why we've been here for 30 years.
Like I said, Chelsea needs to get her groove back, and then we recast.
She's gonna get her groove back
Slow
pretty
down.
quickly.
I know, because to me, like her and Nick are just so hot. I was sort of sad when they had dropped it with the whole Sage dying bit, because her and Nick were kind of getting close back with.
But I know you
Christian
love
yeah.
Philly's chemistry. Do you think Sage and Nick can top that for you?
Yeah, Chelsea and Nick, I don't know. I could see it, because I'm loving Nick lately. Oh,
He's just so strong.
Yeah.
And, like, as usual, he just took the reins here. Victor is not the head Newman anymore. Victor's a mess, and Nick has to come in, be father to Connor, organize his funeral in half a day, if you do the math. And then, you know, he's got that smoldering sexiness. I mean, he's
yeah.
filling
does.
all of the soap opera hero roles at this point.
And he's able to deal with all his exes so effortlessly.
I know,
Sharon
right?
walks in the room, he's polite to her.
Remember
Phyllis.
when he told Sharon, he's like, can I have a moment? She's like, okay. Doorbell.
and, and this is one of the few times that he's actually single, so we got to
Yeah.
get him hooked up again.
Oh, he is right for the picking.
I know. It's like, I've never been that big of a Nick fan until now, and I'm like, who is this new Nick Newman? Because, yeah, as you said, he's become the patriarch over
Yes,
Victor.
totally.
Because, yeah, he's the one going around telling everyone Adam is dead. And it's like, Nick tells everyone.
I would have been like, send a group text.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
right?
group text, Adam's dead again.
Yeah. Chelsea.
Again.
It's like, been there, done that.
Chelsea leaves the group.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Facebook, I love it.
But yeah, speaking of Nick and Chelsea, Chelsea gets arrested just to basically try and drag Victor out. And I love Dylan is still like, no, Paul.
At least they didn't put her in a cell and we had like a sad cell scene.
Yeah.
They had some kind of sympathy for her.
Yeah, she wasn't handcuffed. That was nice.
And I
but
saw it coming, her running downstairs. I was like, as soon as they mention that,
Yeah.
she's going to run down. She did.
And that was a nice moment that she had when Nick told her, because, you know, her as an actress knew that this was coming. Everybody knew. But her explosive, she was emotional in a way that she hasn't been in a while. She was really raw for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
That memorial, that speech.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, she had me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, we'll get to that later since the memorial was fun.
I got some notes about that
But yeah, with Chelsea, I love Melissa Claire Egan, and to me, there's so much potential now for her that had sort of been boxed in with Adam's storyline. And, you know, I loved her as Crazy Annie on All My Children. So to me, once she finds out that Chloe could possibly have anything to do with this,
She's gonna
which
flip.
Crazy Annie returns.
Flip out.
Did you guys see that? There was already an energy shift because Chloe was like, I'm so sorry. Chelsea
And
was
it
a
was
little
really
removed
low.
each time. There was a weird energy there. So I hope that this comes to head because that was some very good girl on girl weird energy.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't the energy you guys keep talking about.
Yeah, no.
No, lesbian. No.
Lesbian friends.
Lesbian.
Let's be honest.
Y&R has so many potentials for lesbian relationships.
And
but they
gays,
just
don't
never
forget
go
the
there.
gays.
I know.
Travis and Lucas, sail away.
Oh.
But yeah, you know,
hot in here.
with Chelsea
Yeah.
being
Yeah, it's
arrested.
super hot in here at the moment.
with Chelsea being arrested, Nick, and sort of Michael too. I like that Michael sort of played, a good confidant, as he's always been with Adam, you know, ever since, when Justin came on to play him. That was good to have him involved too.
And I think they're being smarter even with like their throwaway lines. Not that any line is a throwaway line when you have to pack so much, but like when Michael said, "Oh, I'll give you a moment," his character just didn't stick around there for the scene. I mean, that was a moment that he knew that Chelsea needed the time, and he was such a confidant and so emotionally distraught that he let them have that time. Does that make sense?
No, it makes
No, it makes no sense.
He's a vet. He's been down that road a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get back to Adam's death a little bit later in the memorial, but we'll talk about the little scene on Monday with Lucinda and Neil.
Oh, you
Aw, that's Amy worthy.
Yeah.
Neil's crying was out of this world.
Yeah, I love Christoph St. John, and I know you know him personally, but yeah, I want to see him get the Emmy for that, because that was so
amazing.
beautiful.
It seems like he personally connected with it. I know we said it last week, but even this week, I mean, that death scene and that emotional, just gut-wrenching cry. There's acting crying, we all know, and then there's like that real crying. I think he just emotionally connected with his storyline.
Yeah, maybe something in his real,
Well,
life
Did
is
you?
kind of connected
Yeah, his
to
son
that.
passed away.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I
his
didn't know
son
that.
committed suicide, so this
Yeah.
was a really
Yikes.
emotional thing for Christoph.
Yes.
And to me, I have to say, I have a heart of stone. I cry very little when it comes to even TV, but I shed a tear.
Absolutely. With Young The Restless, I
Yeah.
think
we all do.
Especially when he walked back in the room and it was empty and they had already taken the bed away, because that's what happens at these
Yeah.
old
It
folks.
happens so quick, yeah.
And then he got the Bible out. Like the jokester in me wanted to open up and be like a bottle in there, but no, there wasn't.
I am no.
No.
Yeah, I was glad there
know.
wasn't, and especially again when it moves on to Neil at the bar,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, is he gonna drink or is he not? So I was so happy when he ordered the club soda.
Yeah, he was so proud of that 25-year sobriety chip, and that was just a really good moment for him.
Yeah, that was
I'm like,
great.
that can be you,
And the way that he put it, it's like these 25 years is your lifetime. I
Yeah.
mean, that was such a good way to look at it. That was an important moment. And that the family came together. And it was like a family portrait. Even, Hillary is now everybody's chummy now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love a good Hillary and Lily fight, but them together and supporting Neil for the greater good
Yeah,
was
I like that.
beautiful.
Yeah, and to me, I really love that scene because they called each other out, but it was a loving sisterly relationship. And to me, I love their cat fights like you do, but I'm glad that they're at this place right now, and I kind of want to see that continue.
Like Jill and Katherine. I mean,
Yeah.
they fought all their lives, but then they would have those moments of clarity that, there was, at the end of the day,
There was
there's
always
some love
love,
there.
yep.
What did you think? You like the Winters family?
I do. Lily, I feel like she's always going to be super protective of her dad, and I don't think she's ever really going to like Hillary.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to do any spoiler alert, but I was on set recently, and I mean, I don't think Lily's ever going to kind of get it together with Hillary. I don't think they're going to be BFFs anytime soon, but I think that she should support her dad, and Neil's
Yeah, and her
doing the
brother.
best he can.
I did love when Lucinda was like, "Oh, how have you been? How has your family been?" And it's like, girl, if this doesn't kill you, I don't know what will. Because there's been so much turmoil with that family and crazy turmoil.
The whole way he
Yeah.
explained it, okay, and this is Devon's wife, which
Yes.
used to be my wife, and she was just like, oh, okay.
She's like, hold on a minute, I don't know.
I thought it was normal.
I kind of thought it was odd that he even mentioned that. I
Yeah.
was like, your mom is dying. Let's just let Hillary be Devon's wife.
Exactly.
He just wanted to get it all out there.
Yeah.
Someone to
There
talk
should be
to.
no labels on soap operas, because everyone's with everyone.
Right?
Everyone's been with everybody.
And I like that the family is not just that token ethnic family that they have on the soap opera.
Yeah.
This family has their own real scenes, real storylines, and hopefully we're not going to get to a point where we're going to even mention that, but that's what I also like about this family storyline.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really love what Candace Max says here in the chat. When Neil said "mommy," the way he said
Yeah,
it,
let's talk with
tears.
our
Yeah.
chats. Let's talk with our chat. I want to see what people are saying. Jill and Katherine are frenemy goals, to be honest.
And the card that she left for Neil,
So
tears again.
sweet.
I was like, can I get a break here?
What does the blonde do? We don't get any haters. Let's have just lovers here.
She's just
I
wondering
do
who
it
you
all,
are.
okay?
It's
A
like,
little bit of this, a
Brittany-
little bit of that.
yeah, Brittany, the blonde Abbey Scott is our guest, special guest co-host, and she has been on YNR.
Yes.
And I
Which
can't
is
wait
the
to
best
see
show
that
ever.
episode, yeah.
And you brought us some treats today too, which I cannot wait.
I did, and we will bring more because it's a great set. Like you don't realize how much the crew and everyone, they're just so nice, and they've been on the show, or they've been working on the show just as long as some of the actors, like 30 plus years.
That's
And it's just
beautiful.
a testament of this soap opera, especially. Like the actors are so kind, and so is the crew. They really, they're good people.
Yeah, it is just such a great show, and we're sort of part of their family too, being their after show.
We are.
I know Christoph had no idea that this even existed.
Excuse me. How dare you, Christoph?
Sorry, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying he was he was like, wow, that's so cool.
Well,
Like, he was excited.
Sean and Daniel need to talk us up.
Yeah, because they tweet us all the time. So.
When Christoph
Get it
gets his
together.
Daytime Emmy nomination, we're going to take credit for
Yes.
it because we started the buzz.
And we
Yeah,
told,
we
we
started
told
the buzz.
everybody.
And I am
We told everybody.
so sure that
All
they
the
listen
We're
to our
gonna get
after
him on the
show.
show, and we'll make it.
Every time we make a correction, they seem to fix it on set.
That is
I know.
weird. Like I mentioned that nobody ever eats real food, and all of a sudden
All of
there's
a
like
sudden,
chicken fingers.
Nobody
and
pays their
fries.
bill.
Oh my God,
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
there's cash.
Absolutely.
Hey,
They were trying to make me eat this salad. I was like, what? Everything was like, they bring real food.
There you go.
See, Legends of Tomorrow watches our after show here, so the writers do. So mhy and our writers, you do too, because they listen to us.
Good job.
are
Good job with
important.
this writing.
But we digress. Let's talk about Chloe covers her butt with Victor. And that's my thing is, did she really do it? Because to me, I don't think she did the explosion. It's too obvious, and I just, Chloe is maniacal and crazy and fun, but I don't see her going that far. If she was going to kill him, she was going to use her own hands. And to me, is how I
but
feel.
why was she even there?
Yeah.
I think she did it, and she had to cover her tracks. It's not like she could bury his body somewhere or go toss it off because she had to run back home. What better way to get rid of your evidence than burn it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then she went to her daughter's grave, and she said,
That was creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy mommy.
So I feel like
always does that.
I do feel like it's a little too obvious, but the fact that she went to her daughter's grave and she was like, I've, redemption and stuff like that, and I don't know.
Because every time she's forgiven him, she's always kept, her daughter in the back of her head, and she's like, I gotta get revenge for you. So I see her doing it.
But how is she going to move on with her life from this point when her mission is done? It's like, okay, now what do I do?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
We saw that beautiful relationship with Bella and Kevin happening. So I see Bella,
That little girl
being
is so
with
damn
him,
cute. I
and
just have to say
she
again.
might be in jail. They love a good prison set. So.
P.S. If you ever lose your keys, and can't get in your car, call Chloe.
Oh yeah.
She pops up in everybody's car. What if Victor had gone to the grocery store with Nikki? I mean, was she gonna just hide in the back?
Nikki would have freaked out.
It's like, then we have Nikki has a heart attack storyline.
I love it.
Oh, that Chloe.
I know. That's
Chloe,
why
too.
I kind of hope that Chloe didn't do the explosion. I feel like maybe she did do something to potentially hurt Adam, and she thought she killed him. But the explosion, because she seemed surprised that happened too. And to me, that's just such a dark thing to do. Like, I get killing him, but an explosion where there's nothing left, that just doesn't seem like her. And to me,
Yeah,
it's
but she
too
had a
easy.
total breakdown.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. People could do crazy things when,
Crazy people.
Well, that's true. And, in my crazy mind, I thought, she kidnapped him and is holding him captive. But then she wouldn't have had that scene at the memorial for her daughter saying, we're finally done. You finally have your revenge.
Yeah, exactly. So they definitely want you to lead you to
Believe
believe
that,
that Chloe was doing it. But I think the obvious is it was Victor. Everyone was like, oh, Victor did it,
Nah.
He was too
He was way too
heartbroken.
emotional.
Yeah, to me, it's like, I don't think Victor did it. And I did love how, like, Nick is like, you know what? He had the same look on his face when I told him Christian died. This, and I liked Nick actually siding with Victor at that point because,
And
Victor
it
was
humanized
distraught.
him.
Yeah. Because to me, that last scene with Victor and Adam is still, Emmy-worthy for both of them. I'm like, wow.
Give them
After
all
all
Emmys.
that mess
Everyone
they've
gets
been
Emmys.
through.
I love it.
And all the chat seem to agree with you guys that Chloe did it.
I know,
guess I'm the
Chloe
only
did
one
it.
that
Let's just
did
say
it.
at the family barbecue, I would not stand next to that barbecue.
No, they needed a villain, and she was perfect.
And I love her as the villain because she's so flip-flop with the kids, and she does love Connor because obviously she sees her daughter in Connor. But then when she gets that look when she talks to Victor,
Oh my God,
that is scary, creepy, and that's the best kind of villain.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
revenge for your child. You never know what you would do.
It's like Medea. Like
yeah.
she's Medea.
She was giving him the death stare. Memorial. She was like,
She totally was.
And to me, with Chloe, you know, I put it later, but we'll just talk about it now. With Chloe being with Chelsea and Connor, it's almost like she wants to replace Adam in their lives. And that's why, you know, I always joke about them being a couple. And Chloe jokes about it being a sitcom, but yeah, it's almost
Guilty
like she
much?
wants to be that. Yeah.
Because I think she wants to be part of a family.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, if she goes back to Kevin at some point, it's just to feel part of a family. She
Right.
wants to feel normal in her own mind, especially now that this is over. She wants so badly to have this literally behind her and be normal, so to speak.
never gonna happen, Chloe.
No,
Never gonna happen.
And you know, misery loves company. So, you know,
absolutely.
she would definitely want Chelsea to be single like her.
Of course.
Let's raise our kids together.
yeah.
That's so creepy. You gotta watch your friends, people.
And that's
Yeah.
like when Chelsea was kind of being cold to her.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, don't do that because Chloe will end up in your bed.
With a knife.
Yes, totally.
And that is
Tranquilizer.
that is one thing I am looking forward to. At least if we're gonna have Chloe be the bad guy, I want to see crazy Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be like, we want too crazy.
yeah, because Melissa can definitely bring it. I've seen it, and yeah, just like when she stabbed Eric Kane in the confusion bathroom.
And you know what? She has a right to go crazy for a little bit. Chelsea's life has been turned up from her husband
Yeah.
being in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then he's free. You get like one last day with him, and then to literally see him blow up, rushing to the airplane. I mean, this woman, she needs a
got the
vacation.
ringer.
She
Yeah,
does.
and that to me this is a perfect time to give her that, and it would be believable, and it would be forgiven.
And then Nick is her
Yeah.
savior.
Exactly.
He's her savior.
Our token guy.
And as we say, Nick loves crazy.
Oh, he does.
Oh, absolutely.
Crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think it will bring out the crazy if she finds out that Chloe was a part of this.
Oh, she's
and that
got-
she was scheming with Victor, and that she's gonna go ballistic. Big time.
Revenge.
And she'd probably join forces with Victor, by the way, to get revenge on Chloe.
Yeah,
however they
yeah.
could.
for sure.
But speaking of meddling, and and let's talk about Jill. Oh
my gosh.
Jill meddling
Meddler.
all in Billy.
Helicopter mom.
Yeah.
Helicopter mom. I'm trying to get myself. Big time, right?
Okay, but my thing is, when your mom tells you not to do something, you are gonna do it no matter what it is.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
don't eat that last ice cream. Don't go to that party. You're gonna do it.
Up
So
until
Jill,
a certain age, it's like, come on, Billy.
but Billy
You know
acts like
better.
a little.
Oh, yeah,
boy.
he acts
Oh
like a
yeah,
child.
Billy is adorable, but he acts so childish
Oh, I can't stand
sometimes.
it. I can't stand it, you guys.
Because and that is the thing is Jill, shame on you for telling him no, and then of course he's gonna react like that. And to me,
He's like,
her,
I can't be with Phyllis. Phyllis, come here.
That makes anybody sexier. When you know you
Right?
can't have it, that's
Yeah.
all you want.
and I think that is part of the interest they both have. Is it's so wrong, but I do
Yes.
feel because they are such confidants and friends first that there is something real. But even Ashley and Jack see it.
Yeah,
Ashley is like
Ashley sees it
No,
a
but Jack
1,000
did-
miles away.
yeah.
But Jack doesn't see it. Were you guys laughing?
I mean,
Yeah.
Jack sees it, but he doesn't want to see it.
Yeah. Were you guys laughing when he said to Billy, he was like, I'm so happy that my brother
Yes.
can be there for my I was like, oh my god.
Definitely
really,
was not
Jack?
laughing.
You have to see this.
Oh, and then what he
seriously.
said, at least Phyllis is getting the consolation
Yeah.
from
Yep,
somewhere. I'm
my
like,
brother.
that's not all she's getting. Okay.
She's getting
Yeah,
mad
it
at
was more
a bag of
just,
chips.
feeling sad for him. I'm so tired of this.
It's making
Jack,
me
you know what
angrier
I
than
mean?
sad for him because we've had enough of this.
I feel like he needs to have his redemption when he finds out. And he needs to go crazy for a little
Yep.
bit. Then it'll be forgiven.
Do you guys remember that scene? It was like months ago that it was in her mind that she had told Jack, and then he reacted. I was like, yes, that's what we need to see.
Yeah, that's what I want to see because I want Jack's fire back as much as, and I feel that is the issue with him
He's
and
even
Phyllis.
being nice to Victor. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got that was appropriate because I will say
Do you, though?
with Adam the
Little bit.
situation, and I feel like Jack did the right thing because he cared about Adam like a son too.
And so it should have been directed by Adam. And I know we're going to talk about the memorial, but everybody
Yeah.
was making it about themselves. It was like, no, it's about Adam.
Yeah. And at least Chelsea made it about Connor, but yeah, we'll get to that.
At least Chelsea made it about Connor. I love it.
And you guys know when Jack said, "Oh, I have to tell you something. Let's take it outside." I knew he wasn't going to say, "I know you're having an affair."
Never.
We knew he was going to
Never.
be. It's my fault
Something
again.
else.
Boo-hoo.
And I'm
Yeah.
so tired of that. Every day he talks about how lucky he is. And it's just like, oh my God.
But is Phyllis going to come clean?
No,
I saw the previews for next
Yes,
week.
come on, they led you to believe
She's
that she...
not going to. I don't think she has
No.
it in her.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be the one
Nope,
to come clean.
no,
Because to me, they've sort of set it up just like they did with that other, she's going to think about it, and then, he's going to say something to make her feel so guilty.
Yep, then she'll back out.
Because I love that he brought up the Marco thing, because I do feel that is what
Of
led her
course.
to that.
I mean, how could it not?
And to me, it's sad that they don't continue to mention it. Like, I think we've heard it twice, but that really is her issue, is that she
Yeah.
was sexually assaulted by this man.
Why is there no therapist in Genoa City? Wouldn't that be like a fun segment? Is that everybody's going to the same therapist?
That'd be hilarious.
Yes.
Dr. Daddy Issues comes back as a therapist.
Right, they're gonna write in a therapist. I would say cast me, but I don't know. If
No,
I
then all the men would be having sex
Dear
with you.
Abby,
Oh, yeah.
dear Abby, I know, right?
Yes, dear Abby.
Dear Abby, I'm going through a lot of problems. My sister's brother slept with my sister's brother's sister, and then he died, and then
All this
we,
stuff
we
happened.
love you.
Maybe that could be like an online spin-off. It's the therapy sessions.
So why not?
Sharon will probably spend the most time there.
It's funny. General Hospital has 2 psychiatrists, and yet they don't have everybody going to them. And I'm like, really? Everybody's got issues.
And we see a hospital more on this
Yeah, I know.
episode. Like, they need to switch things over.
It's like, have Dr. Andre come over, because he's a beautiful chocolate man.
Dr. Andre.
He can help in Genoa City.
Hop on this panel first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's all be
Anthony
the
has been in the
therapist.
studio, Anthony Montgomery. But I digress. But yeah, so Jill, speaking of hot bods, Jill meets Travis.
You guys, that scene was so fun, and we needed
Yes.
that scene this week. We really did.
Yeah,
The fact that she
Travis is
stayed
cute.
there was
He's
crazy.
very cute.
yeah.
He's more than cute,
Yeah.
Carl.
Side cute.
He's like, oh.
He's like, oh.
As I always say, he reminds me of Ricky Schroeder. And
Totally,
And
absolutely.
And Michael Rourke is just as hot in person, guys. He was technically my first red carpet interview ever, but he couldn't tell me anything about the Young and the Restless
Oh my
because he
God.
literally premiered the day before.
Oh, so sexy. And he's the kind of guy that looks good in a suit, without his shirt, in bed, on a boat, at the Dairy Queen, wherever.
Victoria, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up,
right?
girlfriend.
And they're so good. So
Yeah.
good.
They are.
And to me, I really like that even Billy was like, yeah, you know what, you go with her. Because I felt like he was actually genuine
Me
in that.
too.
Because
I felt that.
because now that Phyllis wants him back, he's like, that's what I want. I don't really want Victoria, but I don't want to be alone. And, he
It was
sees that.
convenient.
And he wants Victoria to be happy. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, he loves her so much that he wants her to be happy.
And
whether
they
it's
have
with
such
him.
good chemistry together. So when
Totally.
you see them, it seems really genuine.
I agree.
Yeah, and with Travis, he's like, okay, this guy is not competition. He's a good guy. And I think and it was so funny whenever, he's talking to Travis about Jill. He's like, I'm surprised she didn't hit on you.
Right?
I'm surprised too, though.
favorite lines.
What I did right here is, though, that they're going to have to do something with Travis's character, so he's just not the eye candy, and that he's just not always there in the background like Kane was for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Something's going to happen with that
Absolutely.
character. I just don't know what it's
Yeah,
going
need
him
to give
doing
him
some
a
deals
crazy.
behind the scenes, and then she finds
something.
out about it. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, because, I like that he's a bartender, but...
Who doesn't like a bartender?
Yeah.
It's the last time
Yeah.
we've seen him in the bar.
Exactly. It's like, how are we going to write that in? Because maybe we always see the pool bar, and we certainly don't see,
But you're dating Victoria
Bethany's
Newman.
gone.
Do you really go back to the bar after?
No.
Yeah.
I think he's going to
No,
go
it's
back to
with
Wall
Victoria,
Street
yeah,
or
when he-
something.
Yeah.
When he found out she's Victoria Newman, he's like, I'm not going back to the bar.
Maybe he'll
Yeah.
serve drinks at Brash and
I'm not going
Sassy.
back to be a bartender.
And there is the underground. They kind of forgot that they built it back up, and then now we
Yeah.
haven't seen it because we're not seeing Noah. We're not. Mariah got a
Yeah.
new job.
Now, what
I
is
mean,
in the top tower that they're doing the scenes on?
yeah, that's pretty much what they're doing. Is no more underground. And Nick was at Newman, so I guess
Yeah.
they're like, we just
Bring
forgot
it
about
back.
that.
We just forgot about that.
But yeah, and speaking of Victoria, her and Victor's moment, I felt like deserved its own little.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, because that was nice. Like they had been sort of at odds, and she'd been wanting so much more from him, and this was it. She got to be there for her dad.
That was emotional. Even when Michael came in on Victor,
Oh, yeah.
the fact that Victor had to go to his office because it literally is the only place that he feels his strength.
Yeah.
And then this complete sadness. It's such when he said, Adam and I had so many of our conflicts
Yeah.
here. When we knew that Victoria was on her way to the office, I was anticipating. I didn't know if he was going to be unfriendly to her. When he embraced her, it was again like the waterworks. This was a really emotional week.
Yeah. And that's why the Jill and Travis scene was so great, because it's
Yes,
like, okay,
we
we have
needed it.
a little fun scene when
Comedic relief,
everything
please.
is.
Yeah, they sandwich
Yeah.
it very well. And then they cue the flashbacks, right?
Oh.
And those always get me when they play, especially when they play that theme song. That
Yes.
theme song gets me every time. It's like the perfect theme song. I love it.
And we saw Victoria as the little girl, but also consoling, Victor's getting older, and everything that he is touching is just not
And
coming
it's
together.
scary to see your father like that, who's always been the strong guy. Now all of a sudden he's crumbling.
Yep.
But that's why I love Nick being there for her.
Yeah. Yep.
Kids always stand behind Victor, though. Ultimately.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
They always.
They do some crazy stuff, though.
Yeah, but they always
Would
come
you?
back.
Yeah, it's like
No.
at the end of the day, the Newmans and the Abbotts, they're all family, so they do come together. And there are people that bridge that gap, like Abby and Adam. To me, they, and that's the thing is Adam was sort of a bridge with the Abbotts and the Newmans to an extent. And that's why it was good to see both families sort of grieve for him, even Ashley.
Like we said, it should have been more about Adam, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to
She
that.
was, yeah.
But let's not forget, we're all, feeling sad about Victor and, oh, God, isn't he emotional and loving his kids again? I wrote, it's still his fault.
Yeah, and that is what I like, is like, even though they were concerned, even Nick was like, this is all Victor's fault. And
Literally.
when he
he
talked to
created
Nikki,
it.
it was like, why did you support him?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
created this
Yeah.
storm and then complained, "Oh, it's rainy, it's rainy." Well, Victor,
But he still had
this
good
is-
intentions.
I can't even believe that you think that because it's his fault. He killed his son. Even if he didn't pull the
I can't
trigger,
put
he
that on
killed
him.
his son.
He inadvertently, killed
Yeah, 'cause
Adam.
to me, it's like the setting up with Chloe and all that is what led to this. Yes, you tried to make up for it at the end by pushing, you and Nikki
jet
working
and
together,
all that.
getting all that together. But yeah, I
A
mean,
little too much, too late.
exactly.
Yep. Too little, too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the
dead.
chat
all
is
my
saying the same
sayings,
thing.
I get all my sayings messed up. Oh yeah, let's see what they're saying.
Yeah, Demo is saying, yeah, Victor, you crying now? If you never did that setup, it wouldn't have happened. I'm
crying
like,
now?
oh, I love this.
I mean, yeah, that is true. But I just never want to think that Victor did
See,
it
but that's
intentionally.
just but then also to see that Victor's plans are just blowing up in his face, and Abby, you were saying that you watched this as a little girl. I watched it as a little boy. Nobody ever doubted Victor
Never.
at all.
No.
Victor was always the winner, and so as a longtime viewer, I get a little nervous knowing that the show has 11,000 episodes, and
They just
you see your
celebrated
characters getting older and they're not in the main storylines anymore, and then Victor's losing power. It makes me nervous and a little sad.
And a lot of his scenes have been in jail this
Yeah.
whole time, the bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I interviewed Eric on the Tomorrow Show, he didn't say anything about, potentially retiring. He seemed to still have it in him. So
I don't doubt
Yeah,
that.
I'm pretty sure we still got a little bit of Victor Newman left. And there's a really good comment in the chat. Speaking of that, Candace Mack said he gave Adam the gift of being a new man and to leave him be happy. And what's interesting about the new man comment is Eric said that's why he came up with the name Victor Newman, because that's not his real name. On the show, is that was his reinvention after being left on the doorstep and
Oh.
Man.
yeah.
Newman.
So that was a fun little thing.
Oh.
And yeah, he wanted that for Adam, but it was too little,
It
too
was
late.
too little. Yeah.
No, he's not dead.
Let's go to a happier storyline, the Kane and Billy brother moment.
Aw.
We like to layer in the few funny things. I really thought that was sort of foreshadowing, is how they're coming together and being more brotherly. It's because he's about to lose Jack.
And he doesn't even
Yeah.
seem sad about it. Jack is such a good person.
Yeah, at first he was a little conflicted, but now he's just like,
It is what it is. Made my bed,
Yeah.
gotta lay in it.
Billy's a jerk. I'm sorry.
He is.
He is kind of a jerk, and he doesn't care. He just he wants Phyllis to ruin her marriage. He's like, no, we should, tell Jack, and it's like, yeah, just put it all out there.
I think it's more he's just miserable. So he finally found someone to latch onto him and, go down that path, and he's going for it.
But even the attention paid on this business trip, all of a sudden for Brash and Sassy, for the Pacific, Midwestern, whatever region that they're watching.
Southwestern.
If you pay attention to that, they treated it like some little kids play as to, you go. That's a business trip. So
Yeah.
Billy was like, he would rather get with Phyllis than pay attention to Brash and Sassy. And once again, he's showing that he's a spoiled little brat.
He wanted
and he
to
doesn't
get
work.
some at the cabin.
And to me, I don't think that was all of it. It's because Jill wanted him to do this just to get back together with Victoria. So I
Right.
think that is some of it, where he's like, no, I'm really
I get
rebelling
it.
against Mom. And yes, I know this is his business, but Mommy took it away from him. And
Or how much more powerful, go with
Yeah.
Victoria, do a bang-up job at these meetings or whatever, set up this region, and then come back and be like, yeah, guess what? We didn't even touch each other.
Right.
Wah, wah,
And then she
backfire.
might leave it
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Candace Mack again. Said Billy is such a spoiled brat. He's like his mother from back in the day, and I do.
That's
Yeah.
funny. That's a funny comment.
And yeah, we'll get to the Jill and Billy scene later, because they are so much alike, and that's what why they butt heads.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like Adam and Victor. But, I guess speaking of people who got some screen time this week, Abby and Ashley were around.
And looking good.
Yeah, they always do. That's why I'm surprised they weren't on your list.
I wrote yawn.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I wrote yawn.
Really?
Yawn? Oh, no.
Okay, we'll
Abby
get
and
to
Stitch
that.
coming back, and then Abby and Ashley. I'm sorry, I just wrote yawn.
Yeah.
I love their mother-daughter moments. So sweet.
Well, she's having
You don't.
issues
I mean, it's fine, but I'm like,
with Ben
Yeah.
Stitch.
Yeah.
but it's the
Yeah.
same
Too
thing
many
with
other names. It
was like,
Yeah.
it's Ben or Stitch.
Yeah, it's hard. But the same storyline and now thing that we did last month, the month before.
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to stay in this marriage? Motherly advice from
Yeah.
Ashley. Seen it, done it, move on.
Yeah.
Have a
need a new
baby.
storyline, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only reason
And
I
they're
wrote
doing
yawn.
the same song and dance now.
Thank
you.
you.
Know?
Yes.
Yeah, and to
Where
me,
it's like you thought at the restaurant something was going to be sad, and it's just the same thing. It's like, oh, I want to work on my us. Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, comes again.
At
Did you
least-
see her grab for the bread basket though? These are the little things. She was like bread basket and just like, okay, I guess we need to talk. Pay attention to the food.
I was just ready for some big blow up.
Me too.
I think everybody wanted that. And then when it's like, oh,
I think
no,
she
let's
really
work
just
it
wanted
out.
a piece of bread. I really do.
Give Abby some bread.
I think Melissa just really wanted a piece of bread.
I don't believe that Abby eats bread. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
she
no,
was
like,
carbless.
look at
Salad
her.
and water.
She's
She
carbless.
is kind of, yes.
Yeah.
She just wanted to lick it. It's like carbs.
The bread is real, by the
Yeah.
way. The bread is real.
And I love Ashley speaking up about what she really thinks about Phyllis and Billy.
Oh, I
Yeah, I like
it.
that.
Before she kind of kept
Yeah.
it to herself. So she's right there at her breaking point of really uncovering.
Yeah, because she's
things
sick of the
too.
BS and she's
Yeah.
sick of Jack moping around the office. She wants to see her brother be the man that she knows that
And
he
what
is.
she said was so powerful. Like, I see her being this person for Billy. I just wish she would be that for Jack. And it's
Yes,
like,
that
we
was so
all
on the money.
desperately want that.
Yeah, and to me, I want to see Ashley be the one to blow this
Reveal
up
it,
because
yeah.
that's going to give her something to do, which we've been wanting. Because to me, I feel like a lot of that Ashley, Abby, Stitch stuff is just they're just rehashing the same thing because it's been so long since we've seen them, and it's like those of us that watch every day know this, but they're
That's
like,
true.
oh yeah,
It's a little,
yeah.
It's redundant, yeah.
And to me, it's just like, as much as I liked Stitch and Abby together, I mean, there's nowhere for them to go from here if we're not going to have Max be that tension.
That villain, yeah. Even
And-
if they have a baby, it's like, oh, okay, a baby.
Oh, yeah, now they want to. He wants to try for a baby. It's like, yeah. Having kids does not solve your problem, people. Real life
no.
world, soap opera world doesn't solve your problems. Just
Amen.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'll try to have a baby with Stitch, but
Babies are just problems in themselves.
He's
They
another
don't solve
ladies'
it.
man, by the way.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of problems, like Phyllis getting all pissy about Victor and
God.
going to the memorial.
I loved it.
This was the one time this week that I was like, oh no, Phyllis.
Thank you. Me too. I
But
was like,
Jack knew it. He was like, you just want to fight with me so you don't have to go. And I wish he would have acted on it. Like, no, you are not going anywhere. Be here for me. I need you. But he wouldn't say that. He still let her run off.
and again, it's not about Victor. It's about being there for Adam and his family.
Yeah.
End of story. And you're the, you're the husband. Whatever you say, Phyllis, go change your outfit. We're going right
Right.
now.
And
like
for-
you said.
For Adam's first memorial, all that was there was Jack, Victor, and Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so Jack is the one who is always there
Always
for
there,
Adam.
yeah.
He's the one that Adam first told that it was him, not Gabriel Bingham. And that's the thing is Phyllis. Adam was important to Jack.
It's like
His heart was
son.
broken.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And Jack makes way too many excuses for Phyllis. It's like, stop. It's like, come on.
It's like, oh, you're so busy. No, she's not.
Yeah, she's
oh, you
busy
want to
banging
lean on Billy.
I didn't
Yeah.
give you love and support that you needed.
Yeah, I can understand why you lean on Billy. No, don't understand why she leans on Billy. Open your eyes.
Yeah, and that is the thing is I really wish that Jack would find his balls and fit the bottom of Phyllis's purse somewhere. And
But
just
we've
get
been
to
saying
that.
this,
Yeah.
you guys, week after week, month after month. You
This
know?
is the one storyline that isn't really progressing, and it's weird.
Yeah,
I think it's bubbling.
Yeah, I think that right now we're getting, because Jill knows, Ashley suspects something, and I sort of want them to be the ones to say, yeah, this is what's going on.
But do you want just a blind Jack getting hit with all this information, or shouldn't he start to uncover
He
things?
knows.
I feel that
knows?
he's starting to suspect something finally, but it's still like, Jack, just get your head out of there.
And to your point, I I too would love Ashley to be the one to make this explode because she doesn't have any vendetta against anybody.
Yeah.
If Jill
Yeah,
makes it
it comes from
explode,
a
it's
good
because
place.
she wants Billy
She's
to be with
just looking out for
Victoria.
her brother.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. So it would come from a good place, and he would be able to lean on her as to revealing this. Anybody else revealing this has their own stake in it.
Yeah, to me, Ashley is the only one who doesn't have an agenda and is just looking out for both
Out of
of her
love.
brothers, and and their relationship. And this is just going to get worse.
Or we can always have Phyllis woman up, but
Yeah.
I don't.
She's
Well,
not
who knows?
always.
Yeah, never.
Maybe she will, reveal it to Jack
Maybe in her
on
sleep.
Monday.
In her
Yeah.
sleep.
In her sleep.
Yeah, again,
She'll be like, I cheated on you.
In our
I love
dreams.
Billy.
I love Billy.
in her dreams.
That's gonna be, Monday's episode. I love Billy. Sorry, Jack, it's not. This isn't working.
Or she forgets what name to call out in the bedroom. Jilly.
Jubilee.
That would actually. Oh my God, writers, listen.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
that'd be a comedy scene.
Yeah.
But, let's get to the biggest thing of this week, Adam's Memorial, which was brought to you by the Philly Porn Session.
So inappropriate.
Yeah.
I know. It's like the flash back and forth. I don't know. I don't know if those were the two to put together, those two scenes.
I thought it was so funny. That was I was like, okay, at least we're making this memorial hilarious.
and really
Hilarious and hot.
Yeah.
listen to the background music too. It went from like
Yeah.
steamy
Sad.
background music to like really sad and somber to steamy. It's like, oh my God, this is too much for me.
But
I have so many problems with this
Speechless
memorial.
for once.
No,
Speechless.
because the memorial literally had happened hours after Adam or Nick told everybody that Adam died, and then they put this memorial. The picture was already there. Then they have it at a nightclub.
I know, right?
So inappropriate. And then I guess they didn't. I guess Chelsea and Adam pissed off all their neighbors and friends.
Yeah,
Chelsea's
nobody
mom
cared.
wasn't there. Dylan and Paul should have been there because oops, we messed up
Yeah.
to begin with. Summer not showing up even though she was doing her own thing. It was just weirdly put together for me. And I don't know if the writers shoved this scene together because maybe Justin Hartley's deadline came up sooner. I don't know. It was so weirdly done.
yeah, to
I
me,
noticed that too.
yeah, with I liked Victor's speech, and then Chelsea, especially just talking to Connor, because
Yes.
that was all she could do, and she killed it. And then Jack too. To me, those three, because they're the only ones that were there for the last one. That was great, but yeah, so many people were missing. But
And
a
then
lot
that
of
scene
time,
of Connor looking at the photo of Adam. I was like, oh, it was just so sad.
Because
like,
why the nightclub? Even the park would have been more appropriate for this movie.
yeah, the
No.
park would
I
have
mean,
been
at
good.
the park, come on. They don't have any,
No,
outdoors.
you needed
Yeah.
that dark scene.
It was a nightclub. There was literally like bottles of liquor behind them.
That might have been the only.
That's why Neil didn't show up. No, I'm
That
just.
was just weird to me. Like the setting was weird. It was just weird.
Yeah, I don't understand why more people weren't there, but I guess Adam is not, the most favorable person.
Yeah, as I say, there were only 3 people at the last one, so this one is a hit.
He stepped it up.
It's a smash.
His new identity gave
We
him a
killed it. We put the
Yeah.
fun back in funeral.
Yeah, because people actually cared that he died this time, because when he came back with Justin's face, they're like, well, I don't care if he's bad, he's cuter. Because
Go to
Michael
his
was
funeral.
hot, but...
Yeah,
You know what?
not like those.
I think
Yeah.
people cared more this time because it's like the memorial should have been about Adam, but people are really upset about this because of everybody whose lives are affected by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Victor is broken now. Chelsea's broken. Connor.
But that's the thing. It's like, it shouldn't be about them. It should have just been about Adam. And I hate that everyone has this heaviness, like, oh, it's Victor's fault. This person, that person. Just let it be about the man who died.
Yeah, except
It
for
never
the,
is.
the interruption with all the porn. But as
Yeah,
I
I know,
say,
right?
way to lighten it up,
Philly
YNR.
porn.
Good job.
And I love how Victor's like,
Yeah.
I'll always be here for you. How much money do you want? And you can go live somewhere else.
Because Jack is so,
Poor guy. Poor guy.
too nice,
Yeah.
Oh, Phyllis, no, she's doing her thing. And she'll cut to her and Billy and their showdown.
Yeah, and that is the
Showmance.
thing, is let's talk about the showdown, because, yeah, we had, at the end of this, Billy and Phyllis come in, and you got Jill, Jack, and Ashley, who've been all talking about them.
And that's just so sad to see everybody in on a joke but him.
Yeah.
It's like, come
Everyone's
on.
on your joke with him.
And it's like when you're around people that you know when they're kind of being shady around you.
Yeah,
Why
or
doesn't
when you
he pick
enter a
up on
room
that
and there's like this
energy?
weird,
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, but I did love how that scene ended up with Billy going home and having that blow up with Jill, because that was such a
so good.
powerful
Yeah. It was really
scene.
good.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, thank God they're finally getting all these issues out that most people have been complaining about for years. As I've always said, she has always put Kane before Billy, and now she's trying to make up for that. And I like that they finally had that conversation.
But is she going to have a heart attack?
Oh, come on.
Was she having
Moms
kids?
know how to do that all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Oh,
if she
God.
was faking, I don't think so, because throughout that whole scene, she was having little,
I did
little
see this.
pains all throughout it.
Let's
And
just say that she's going to milk it.
probably milk it, but I just
Probably.
think she would have been bigger with it if she was acting. She probably would have fell out and just caused this whole scene. It was really subtle.
And to me, that's why I feel like it was real too, especially because also Billy's calling her out for faking, and that's when you're like, this is
Yeah.
actually real, because
Yep.
he's gonna feel bad.
But to those, like we were talking about Kristoff with that moment that he had, when they were shouting at each other, there was some real emotion coming out as mother and son, and I saw all these years of holding back what you really want to say. Billy has nothing to lose at this point. He already lost his house, right?
Yeah.
He's already lost his house. I love it.
Jill's in a relationship with her husband, but they're still plotting against each other. These are lonely, lonely people surrounded by people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but way to talk your way out of it. Blame your childhood for why you're now, lonely. And it was just a cop out for Billy.
Yeah, and speaking of cop-outs, on the other side of that conversation with Phyllis and Jack, I mean, he just kept giving Phyllis outs, and it's like, I did like at the end, she's like, I've been lying to you, and then that's where we cut, but yeah.
She
What was she
better
lying
say
about?
She's going to say, I'm actually a size 4, not a size 2. That's what she's
Right.
going to say.
I don't like being called red.
or Philly, everyone in AFTERBUZZ.
That's pretty damn funny. My name is not Red.
All right, and we'll sort of wrap up the last little bit, which is like Sharon, Summer, Luca, Mariah, Paul, and Dylan, and all this nonsense. So Sharon actually was good this week. To me, she didn't
Kind
have
of.
crazy eyes. She was just sort of there.
Lucretia, when you wrote that, I was like, no.
No, once Stitch came over
It's-
with that information, she seemed like she saw a ghost once again.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Stitch scene was the only one though, because to be honest, when she was at the memorial and when
yeah,
Nikki
she
brought
was
it
cool.
up,
She was cool.
she's like, I was married to Adam.
Yeah, she was relaxed.
And she was nice and caring to everybody. And yeah, only until that moment where she's like, oh crap, Stitch.
No, but she was also that with Mariah, and then we heard the same conversation that she's had with Mariah. Do I tell him? Do I not tell him? Mariah's like, do we live with this forever? But then her eyes started to get scared.
Yeah.
It's like,
When-
who's the mother, who's the daughter?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that's another thing, just like with Stitch and Abby, I feel like they rehashed it because it's been so
catch
long that
people
we
up.
brought that up. And,
Yeah.
you know,
we have been saying that we have to wrap this up. We have to.
Yeah.
So that's good. But what about that phone call Sharon got a couple weeks back and nobody was on the
Oh,
other
yeah,
line?
what was that?
I think that's going to come out soon.
yeah, I think
that was so
you know,
weird.
or maybe one of those things where they forgot about it and then they never bring it up again.
I forgot about it
Yeah.
until you
Well,
mentioned that.
remember, guys, we got to
because-
wrap that up.
and that's the thing. Sometimes you have cool stuff like that, setting things up, and then they never happen.
Yeah.
Because and to me with Stitch and Sharon, I'm like, because obviously they're looking to break him and Abby up. I'm like, I saw chemistry with Sharon and Mariah because she was straight up bitchy to him, and I'm like, that always leads to romance.
Right.
And she needs some.
Yes,
Oh,
she does.
absolutely. She needs some.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I don't
So
know
many
about this
ways
whole
they
thing
can
with
go.
Sharon.
No. Yeah,
And then,
Absolutely.
oh,
it's gonna
just-
all blow up in Sharon's face when you're like that paranoid.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's gonna blow up.
People
it's
say
like,
it.
girl,
She's
chill.
just- yeah, exactly.
But like the Mariah
Girl,
Summer,
yeah.
Abby Summer scenes were so cute, and we kept saying we need more of these girl interactions and supporting each other.
But they have to be natural, too. They can't be forced. I felt the
pretty.
Summer
Oh my
and
God.
Mariah
that
scene was a little forced.
Yep.
Yeah, I do agree because it was nice because it's like this made Summer likable, especially after.
Oh my God.
I liked that she was. I was like, it was sort of like she threw some shade, and Mariah pointed out. I was like, that
Yeah.
was a
Even
sister
said
moment.
it.
Yeah.
But with Abby, I was like, I loved how she initially brought. Well, yeah, you did sleep with my husband. And I was like, oh, Summer, honey, sit down. You pretty much pushed a kid to suicide almost. And that is the thing. Is
That's
like
what I was
that
like,
is what's
what?
so not likable about Summer. But then she sort of listened, and then when Mariah came in, I'm like, okay, Summer, you're getting there. Because the whole Luca little bit was just like,
Yeah.
why
That
did
That
we
was
even
weird.
throw that in there?
Thank you. That was a
Yeah.
weird thing.
yeah, I was like, is she gonna
Yeah.
take Luca back? What's going on here?
I can never hate you, Luca.
I
And
can
then-
never hate you.
And as an actor, he was stuck behind those bars. You couldn't
Yeah.
see the
Oh, was he
emotion he
half
was
of his
putting
face?
in.
Yeah, he was great.
He
I mean,
was, but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
He was in
Yeah.
shadow, and when he came out of the bars, or out of the jail bars, and we saw that. That was an intense moment, but like you said, it was thrown in there, so we
Yeah.
didn't get to appreciate it and enjoy it.
Do you think that's the end of the storyline for Luca?
For a while.
For a while, because
Oh,
he
yeah.
did get
He's
another
busy.
job, and
He's
he
way
is
busy.
off.
Busy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
busy in jail.
No, but like as an actor, he's doing that new show with Al Pacino, which
Yeah.
opens in October. So they rehearse that 7 days a week for 7 hours.
yeah.
So they're in rehearsal. I guarantee.
Well, I hope
for that.
not, because that leg, Luca.
I hope he comes back, but he
And
could
without
take
a
a
shirt.
break. Could take a
Him
break.
and Adam will come back together holding hands.
And see, we would love to see that.
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
We would.
But since we've got to wrap up real quick, let's shoot to our news and gossip. We've got one little thing to bring up here.
TV News.
All right, so James Lott Jr., aka co-creator and executive producer, will be joining us on October 2nd. And since we're short on time, let's just hop into our segments and talk about our best and worst dress this week.
Okay,
And-
I'll be really quick.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we have? Okay, worst dress. It was a tie again. Oh, so are we going to start with best? Okay. So, best dress.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. Number one, everybody was dressed like they were going to a cocktail party, and the funeral being at a nightclub, that's why I thought it was funny. But everybody was dressed a little too sexy and inappropriate. So I gave best dress to Chloe because she's the only one that can dress a little inappropriate because it's her character. It's like sad,
It's funeral wear.
but it's sad and
I like the
sexy.
lace, yeah,
Right.
it's very
She looks like the
cute.
sexy Spider Woman.
Yeah, to me, I was like, it was a funeral appropriate, but Ashley and Abby were they're always flawless, though.
Right, but it wasn't appropriate for a
Yeah.
funeral. Like you said, Abby's outfit, that was a really cute outfit, but for a funeral,
Funeral?
But she
No.
had so many scenes.
I know she
She
kept
was
that outfit
everywhere.
on all day, and even for her
Womp
the
womp.
dinner.
Yeah, wah wah. So
wait.
worst was a tie. Jesus,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like mother, like daughter.
What is this? This looks like a nun that gave me math lessons in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
she got
my
her
God.
groove on after that.
Yeah,
I
that was
know.
so weird.
Her
Even-
lingerie was better,
Better
than
than
this.
that, yeah.
This is so frumpy. It doesn't fit her waistline. But look at, I think maybe she was sick in real life. She was really emotionally raw this week. But you notice her hair was flat. She just looked like she was like recovering from a cold or something. And you know,
jeez.
maybe she just didn't want anything tight and whatever.
Billy's
but this is
gonna
the
get sick.
worst.
And I agree with this, but to me, Summer, I have a dress like that.
Okay, yeah, so my other worst is Summer. Jeez. She's in her pajamas to go to the police station.
And that's probably why I like
I
it,
love
because it looks like
that.
pajamas.
These are pajamas. And then she's going to go to the police station. They're going to be like, girl, did we pick you up for picking up? You know what I mean?
I like it. It's kind of like a plaid little, like,
I know.
oversized shirt.
I have a dress like that. Yeah.
You guys, she's wearing a sheet.
No, I like
then
it.
the
Shirt dress, those are in.
Short
But, like,
dresses are in.
The potential to see your lover being touted off to jail, you would dress up and be like, look, you're not going to get this.
No, with a slick ponytail and a hoop, that would have worked.
Oh, God, girl.
I know she wasn't in sweatpants. Come on, give the girl a break.
I know.
I can't. I can't forgive this.
I mean, we bag on Summer a little bit too much, or at least you guys do.
Yeah.
This is my first time, so.
But speaking of Summer and shade, let's get to the shadiest moments.
Wait, do we have our music?
Well, we'll get to what my name is. Sika
My
Sika
name is
Slim is Shady.
Let's get to the shade. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of tied between Billy and Jill. So when Jill said, you know, phony sentiments are always hard to stomach, but we deal with them in front of Jack, I was like, if he doesn't catch that, I'm going to slap him.
Shade.
Shade. And then, you know, that whole fight scene with Billy and Jill when he was like, walk away like you always have. I'm just keeping it real. You were in and out of my life like a timeshare.
I love that.
Shady.
Like a timeshare.
Billy, stop blaming your mom. Grow up. Hashtag Billy, be a man.
I love it.
And we'll get to your segment since you were on the set this week. We have your
Yeah.
photo and
Look
video.
at, I told Christoph, because he did comment on this on Instagram. He was like, love this. And I was like, I love how you're always camera ready. Because I didn't even tell him I was taking this photo. And look at him. He's like full
looking
on, like, yeah. And see, a real salad, guys. That's a real
Yeah, I saw
salad.
that. I
I
was
know, and
impressed.
I apologize in advance that this is my Snapchat. So if there's a lot of Abby, okay, just cue the Snapchat or the Snap Life. Going to the Young and the Restless.
Yes, oh, girl.
Pretend like I'm a diva already.
This excites me to see
I
behind the scenes.
know.
So yeah, that's the fitting room. And then they play the scenes as they're, so we see.
Oh, as
Travis.
they're filming?
Yes, as they're
Oh.
filming. And that's the taping schedule. They do so much in one day. It's
Yeah.
crazy. For all the fans out there.
Let's look at the menu.
This
They have a real
excites
menu.
me.
They have a full-on real menu, and it like looks so good.
Is that real wine?
There's Eric Braden. He. Oh wait, we have Christoph St. John.
Yeah.
Dessert?
Yes, he's bringing us dessert. And he brought me real coffee, which I'm so excited about. Oh, I love it. They're just like so. It's just so much fun. You know, that's my little visitor pass. I just love being on the set. Like that is the life of
That
a
is so
film star.
exciting.
It's absolutely the life. You know, no wonder why they're all like family. They're just so, you know.
So how many hours is a usual day?
Well, it just depends. I mean, literally, Christoph, he shot, I believe, 6 scenes, and he was done for the day.
That's a lot of scenes, though, in film life.
Yeah, but it was like 6 scenes was maybe like 15, 20 minutes. It was not that long, you know? So sometimes they're only there for like an hour or two. That's what I'm saying. The life of a soap opera actor. I mean, it's like sometimes they're there from like only a couple hours. They're in makeup longer than they are on set sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it just depends on their storyline. And yeah, it's just amazing. I love everyone on the show.
And speaking of Christoph, Neil is definitely my winner of the week since it's time to wrap up with our winners and losers. Because to me, the scenes were so beautiful with Lucinda, and as I said, I shed a real tear, and it was weird. And to me, this is so Emmy-worthy.
That is
That
such a great
picture
show.
right there. You don't even have to hear anything.
Yeah, and you know, my loser has to go to my girl Chloe. I love her,
Cray.
but it was to me how she was this week, creeping around with Chelsea, wanting to replace Adam in her
Shooting people.
life. Was like, no, Chloe.
But this is what we live for, though.
Yeah,
We
we
do,
live for
but
the crazy.
it's like do it full out or not at all.
All right, so let's get to predictions. Literally 1 minute, guys. 1 minute predictions. You're on the clock.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
All right, Alexander, how about you?
Fair's going to come out, and everybody's going to be leveled, and everybody's kind of life is going to start fresh all over again with new relationships, etc.
All right, how about you?
You know what? Since I brought up that phone call with Sharon, I think maybe Adam was calling her.
Ooh, that would have been good. How about you, Abby? What do you think?
I think that Phyllis is going to tell Jack about her and Billy. Oh, no? Okay. I'm being hopeful and optimistic.
Hopeful that Phyllis warms up, but I don't know. I hope it's Ashley that tells, but also Candace Mack had a really good point in the chat. Travis needs some family now that we like him and we want him to stay. Sharon could be his sister.
Totally.
Because they do look a lot alike.
Totally.
I like that.
I'm fine with that.
But all right, so that is it for tonight's Restless wrap-up, guys. As always, I'm your host, Lacretia Lyon, and you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet. Since there is only one, be sure to give us that thumbs up, those likes on iTunes, and tweet us anytime. And where can they find you, Alexander?
Instagram, Twitter, On The Rocks On Air, or OnTheRocksRadioShow.com.
How about you, Kiera?
On all social media at Kiera Giavanni.
And Abby.
Like, hold my phone up. AbbeyScott.com, Abbey Scott 1. I'm on Snapchat, Twitter, everything. And I'm young and restless.
All right, guys. So the bowl breakdown actually is on tonight, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.